There's an easily accessible region of the map in Elden Ring where you can go right from the starting area, and by going there you can find some of the best items we've come across so far, including more upgrades to your healing, a talisman that allows you to regenerate health, and your very first legendary weapon. So, a lot to go over, let's get right into it and tell you how to reach this region. If you've explored the Limgrave region of the map a bit already, you might have already encountered the Agheel Lake South Grace Point, but if you didn't, it's over here on the map, and from there we want to make our way down south. And because the game in the beginning tries to lead you north towards Stormville Castle, you might completely miss this part of the map, which is a shame as like I mentioned, there's some really good stuff to find here. So mount up and follow the road until we reach a bridge. There's a guy behind a ballista here, so watch out for him, but it should be easy enough to just dodge these guys on your mount or kill them and loot the stone sword key on a corpse behind the ballista. After that, we continue up until we reach our first grace point, which is located immediately to our right after crossing the bridge. And now we're in the Weeping Peninsula, except we don't really know where we're going yet. So first point of order is of course finding a map fragment. Jordan already mentioned this in his video, go watch that one if you haven't already, by the way. There are some great tips in there, but even in unexplored regions of the map, you can easily check the location of the map fragment by checking if you can spot this pillar icon. So this one is located on the road south, which is where we're already heading anyway. There are some enemies along the way which you can choose to ignore, although I recommend fighting them as this means you can safely pick up the Morning Star from the carriage and the mighty shot Ash of War from the beetle on your way over. There's also another grace point alongside a merchant, so activate that and then move on to grab the map fragment, which will make finding the locations in the rest of this video so much easier. Be careful not to go too much further though, as something is going to shoot giant, and I really mean giant, arrows at you from afar. We'll deal with him in a bit. Of course, if you liked the video so far, remember to leave a like, and we're going to be making a lot more Elden Ring content here on the channel, so if you don't want to miss that, remember to subscribe as well. So yeah, with the map fragment in hand and some grace points already unlocked, it's pretty much up to you to decide in what order you want to do things. I chose to chase the legendary weapon first, which is in the castle further down the road, but if you want to do things in a different order, just use the timestamps in the video to find the item you want to get first. So in order to get this legendary weapon, we want to deal with that archer. Luckily for us, there is a lot of debris and rubble in this area to use as cover, so move between those until we reach the giant archer. Similar to the giant enemies, these guys move pretty slow, plus he insists on using his bow even at close range, so it's easy to take him down by circling him on horseback and hitting him in the legs over and over. He doesn't respawn after you kill him either, so once he's out of your way, he's gone for good. Move into the fort to activate the grace point there, take a moment to catch your breath, and then it's time to head in. Now, you can explore the fort at your own pace, but if you just want to grab the legendary weapon here, a lot of the encounters are actually skippable. Take the elevator up to the courtyard, then head straight to the other side until you reach the wall, then go right. There's a ladder here we want to take up. Turn right and keep running until we reach the end of the wall. There's a breach in the barricade over here on our right where we want to drop down and activate the grace point. Now it's time for some platforming. Drop down a couple of times until we reach solid ground again, then go towards this walkway and drop onto the roof of this next building. From here, you just want to follow the route I'm taking. Most of the jumps are fairly easy, and while they might look high, you can see from my health bar that you won't be taking any fall damage. Finally, after following this route through to the end, you reach a tower with a hole in the ceiling. Carefully look down to spot the wooden beams we want to drop onto. The first one actually has a rank 2 smithing stone on it, so grab that, then drop down to the second and look around for the exit. There are a lot of smaller enemies in this room, mostly rats, so instead of getting swarmed, we want to bolt for the exit, then turn left and left again to find our next grace point. And from here, it's a pretty easy run to the Leonine Misbegotten, the boss of this area that will drop our legendary weapon. Just cross the bridge opposite from the grace point. I took the ladder down, but you can just drop down from the bridge as well and go through the fog wall to start this boss fight. I didn't really have too much trouble with this guy. I used summons to distract him, then hit him from range with fireballs, but he also seems pretty vulnerable to stagger, so if you hit him with a guard counter or a charged heavy attack, you can deal some pretty decent damage too. Might take you a couple of tries, but after beating him, he drops the Grafted Blade Greatsword. And while I haven't really been able to properly try this weapon out yet, mostly due to the massive 40 required strength to wield it, I think we can all agree that it looks awesome. I definitely feel like this has to be a reference to Game of Thrones, with George R.R. Martin of course also working on the lore for Elden Ring, but the blade looks very similar to the Iron Throne, which was also made by Forge forging together the swords of one's enemies. Its unique skill sounds incredible too, boosting all attributes and boosting poise as well, which is effectively your resistance to being staggered. The description also reads that it is one of the legendary armaments, which I think is a hint to that trophy that has us collect all of the legendary armaments. And of course, if you found more of these, let us know in the comments below or via the input@JorRaptor email address. Now, like I said, we are far from done in this area, so the next order of business is to gather 2 Sacred Tears so we can upgrade our Crimson and Cerulean Flasks to restore more health and FP. We want to head back to the Castle Morn Rampart Grace Point, the one pretty close to the map fragment, but instead of heading south, we are going to turn north and take the left path here. There's a Grace Point next to the lake with the dogs, but we want to continue over the rope bridge. We follow the path past these tree root enemies until we see a church in the distance. That's where we're headed. Once you enter it, activate the Grace Point and grab the Sacred Tear from the statue. This will allow you to upgrade your flasks to the next level, meaning that if you grab the one from the third church of Marika, you're already at +2. If you missed that one, we covered it in another video, so we'll leave a link to that one in the video description. But yeah, +2 flasks. Pretty good, right? Well, what if I told you there is a third Sacred Tear just a quick ride away from where you are right now? It's over here on the map, just put a marker there and right there on horseback. You can ignore the enemies, although these headless soldiers look scary but are actually very similar to the regular Goldrick soldiers you find in Limgrave, except these ones can teleport a short distance. Anyway, deal with them or sneak past them and enter the 4th Church of Marika to grab our next Grace Point and Sacred Tear. Which means that your flask should now be at least at +3, which pretty much means that every flask can fully refill your health regardless of how low it is at this point. And I'm also definitely noticing a trend here with most of these Sacred Tears being located in abandoned churches, so I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for more of those on the rest of my journey. Anyway, with those upgraded flasks, we're ready to set out toward the next item on the list, the Blessed Dew Talisman. This talisman will slowly regenerate health over time as long as you have it equipped, so really useful in pretty much any situation, and the way you get it is actually really cool too, so definitely worth getting this one. From the 4th church, we're going to head south again towards the Tower of Return, over here on the map. It's a pretty smooth ride, no real obstacles, just ignore the giant walking mausoleum for now, he won't bother you either, and then as soon as you see the tower, prepare to run. Because there is an enemy with a ballista at the top which we can outrun if we're quick enough. There's a lot of enemies at the base of the tower too, so just run up, climb the 3 ladders, kill the ballista guy and open the treasure chest. And if you read warnings saying it's a trap, it kind of is, but it's not a dangerous one. You see, opening the chest releases a mist that teleports you to a new location, Leindel, which is literally on the complete opposite side of the map. You can't teleport from here until you activate the Grace Point, but lucky for us, there is one pretty close to where we were dropped off. And can I just say, before we go ahead and grab the item we came here for, just do yourself a favor and have a look around. This area is gorgeous. I can't wait to visit the rest of it. Anyway, we're not going to do that now. For now, all we can do is rest at the Grace Point and move forward, where a giant knight is lying down. And he will get up, and he's way too strong and tanky to tackle right now, so instead we're going to run to the right of the platform where we find the treasure chest with the Blessed Dew Talisman, granting us health regeneration. And while it might not seem like much, having your health slowly regenerate during a tough boss fight or just casually have it regenerate while you're exploring on horseback can be really useful. And by the way, if you're wondering why I have 2 talismans equipped, you unlock a second slot after defeating Margit the Fell Omen on the road to Stormville Castle. And we found way more amazing things in Elden Ring which we will share soon, so totally subscribe to make sure you don't miss future content. Remember to leave a like on this one if you enjoyed it, and if you want, you can watch our previous video on some amazing items you can already find early by clicking on the screen. For now, thanks everyone so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!